What's up, everybody? On a podcast now. I'm Alex, and oh boy, we have some frequently asked questions, some FAQs for Abandon. So they updated their website in a way, and they added this. They kind of prided themselves on this yesterday on Twitter. Hopefully it's yesterday. Hopefully you guys are seeing this video when I think you are. But I want to go over the FAQs. I want to go over some things that are kind of weird. Also, the fact of them adding it to their website and go from there. So the first thing I'd like to point out is number one, obviously they announced that they had done this and that they had answered some questions that they get quite often. But number two, when you go on their website, it's literally just it's not a good website. I'm just gonna be flat out honest. And you could say, well, indie team, all that stuff. It's not a good website. And I guess it's not like I could do any better myself, but it literally has everything all in the main the opening page, right? When you click on or when you type in Blue Box Game Studios, you see we are working on this website. It will be ready shortly. That's awesome. You have their logo, which is about as plain as it gets. We are preparing for ... We are preparing the website. In the meantime, you can reach out to us at contact, so you can actually contact them. Maybe I should do that. I don't really know if that's a great idea. They have their Twitter, and then they have FAQs, and again, this is all on the same page. So let's read off these FAQs. When will we learn more about Abandon? This is a question people ask. We are working hard to reveal Abandon ASAP. As of now, the game is not ready for the public eye. Why is there a 5-second footage in the app with a size of 5 gigabytes? As a result of the technical issues, we made it very hard for us last minute. We had to trim the opening teaser. The 5 gigabytes is the actual size of the full length. We will release the full teaser soon. We sincerely apologize for this. When will we see new content for the app? Unfortunately, we can't provide an ETA, but we are working to release new content ASAP. What is the Playable Prologue? The Playable Prologue is a standalone game with its own set of trophies on PS5. What is the release date for Abandon? It's set to be released in 2022, while the Prologue will be available soon. Will Abandon be available in physical form? Yes, Abandon will be available in physical and digital. The Prologue is only digital. Is Blue Box Game Studios in any way linked to Kojima or Kojima Productions or Hideo himself? No, they are a small independent studio based in the Netherlands. Is The Haunting in any way linked with Abandon? No, Abandon is a different game. The game has been created from scratch and does not include references to The Haunting. Why isn't Abandon shown so far? Weird way of wording the question. Abandon was announced too soon. Also, we received bigger audience than we initially had, or a bigger audience than we initially had, so we had to polish the game even more. Even now, the game isn't ready for the public eye to see. We will release all media inside the Real-Time Experience app and web for actual gameplay reveals and cinematic trailers. What makes it unique and stand from other games? Has a new narrative presented in realistic gameplay with a cinematic experience. Abandon emulates a realistic approach to survival. Is Abandon a horror game? Abandon is a horror shooter / survival game, while the primary focus isn't entirely on horror. Is Abandon the actual name of the IP? No, Abandon is a code name. The marketing title will be announced with the gameplay reveal. So, all right, number one. These are questions people ask, but these are not all the questions people ask, and I get that they're frequently, but I think there's questions asked to them more frequently than some of these. Obviously, I don't expect them to just throw out there like, why would a team that has this kind of sketchy past, why would, stuff like that. I don't think they'd be putting that on their own website. I guess in any case, right? I get it. It's just kind of funny to point out. Also, you'd think they'd make a real good effort to make sure I get there in the Netherlands and all that stuff, but like the English here is not very good, and it's like, I get it, but at the same time, I feel like you need to bring your A game here. Other things is like, my God. So I just want to I'm going to skim through the 5-second footage for the 5 gigabytes. That is very, very funny. Apologizing for it. The Prologue thing is weird. What is the Playable Prologue? The Playable Prologue is a standalone game with its own set of trophies on PS5. Now, he did say this, Hassan did say this in one of those interviews, I think the IGN one with the Prologue, but it's like, how does that not raise more, how does it not raise more questions than answers? You are a team that's never made pretty much anything. The Haunting is a game that, you could have actually addressed it here in your FAQs that, when you said that it had been given to an indie studio, and the studio actually doesn't exist, but then you clarified in an interview that it is really just a couple guys who works on Abandon that formed a side studio, kind of like as their at-home project, and they're like, you could have said that in there, but like, why are you doing a playable prologue? Like, if this game Abandon is so ambitious, like, well, actually, I guess that would explain it. Like, if it's so ambitious, why would you have a playable prologue? Well, because those two kind of link to each other, but it's like, how is it possible to do that? I don't really know. The whole physical thing, look, you know, I'm generally a fan of the preservation of games. I do want games to kind of last a long-term past digital. Like, I do kind of, I'm not like insanely into it, but I do have games from you know, years and years past, you know, disc, like I've never thrown them out, stuff like that. The point I'm trying to make is recently there is a big push for just and not really push from fans, but really the industry, just digital. And we've seen, especially with, you know, the stuff around the world the last year and a half, a lot of things that maybe would have come out physically are now just coming out digitally, especially when it comes to games in the size and scope of this game. Even though you look at a game like Kena, which I think is going to be, if this is a real thing, Abandon, Kena, I think, is going to crush it compared, okay? Kena is only coming out digitally, and I think that's a pretty big game. It's got a lot of people that really love it. Ember Lab is a really great studio who has done stuff before, just not in the gaming industry. And so, like, that's an example I like to use of, well, that's only coming out digitally. So this game coming out both physically and digitally is odd. I mean, there's just no other way of saying it. It's weird, simply for the fact that the world is kind of moving away from that, and they're not, which is odd for a small game. You would normally expect something like this for a game that's a little bit bigger, and that, again, kind of fuels the speculation. Obviously, they're not going to admit to the Kojima thing, although they're just going to re-say the stuff that they have kind of always said for it. Why isn't Abandon shown? They kind of go to their go-to of, like, they announced it too early, and they have a bigger audience than they thought, even though they are the cause of the majority. Probably 80% of it is their own fault. I just like to kind of point that stuff out. But again, talking about, you know, the actual name of the game, which we knew that, right? Abandon's not the actual name. That is going to come with the gameplay reveal. So I don't really know well, okay, I'm going to be honest. Like, I forget the order of, like, when you go on the app, but, like, we have the I guess, full teaser, which is not actually out yet. That needs to come out. You have the playable prologue, but you also have the cinematic reveal. So now we're at 3, and then you have a gameplay reveal. So that's 4. Again, I don't remember the order in the app, but it sounds like all you hear. Well, I guess here's the thing. Removing ourselves even from that, what's funny, just kind of like me smiling and kind of just like laughing at them, is they all sound like they're supposed to come out at the same time, or like they're all supposed to come out right away. Like, you clearly would want to do the full teaser because you already did a quarter of the teaser, so obviously you'd want that. But then like this playable prologue, they've been pumping it up so much, and it seems like they want that to come out kind of immediately. The cinematic reveal was the thing that he had talked about for Gamescom, so that one should have already maybe even been out. That's the thing that's kind of been delayed. And then you have the gameplay reveal, which is also somewhat soon and has the actual title of the game because it's not actually Abandoned. So, you know, it's so weird. I love it. I love it. I know not everybody does. I know people are getting fed up with it. I'm not going to stop for the small amount of haters out there that just wish that I shut up about it. You have brains. You have fingers. I assume you have a mouse or like a keyboard or a controller if you're on console, or on your phone you have fingers, right? You don't have to click videos. I don't know if haters on the internet are weird because they don't actually have to interact with things. Just want to throw that out there to upset more people. But, you know, if you're into it, as always, I thank you so much for your support. You guys rock, and I'm so happy to have you here. I always have a blast with this. I'm going to continue having a blast because it's just fun. And if you don't want to watch it or you're not into it, I respect you. I don't think that's a bad thing. I get if you hate them, if you hate people like me for talking about, like, I understand it, okay? Because these guys, in a way, are jokes. They're clowns. They really are. If things don't work out the way, you know, that it may work out, right? I understand it, but you don't have to watch. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, as I always ask. If you want to follow me on Twitter, second channel, subscribe there. We're pushing hard for 4,000 subscribers on my second channel, so if you haven't subbed there yet, please do. We also have Patreon and YouTube memberships if you guys want to support us there. Links are in the description below, as always, okay? Thank you for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.